So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up an LLC in the state of Florida. I'm going to be taking you through step by step, showing you this exact process. Now, we've set up over a dozen LLCs in the past 8 or 9 years now, and this can feel pretty confusing. That's probably why you ended up on this video, because you've searched for it or you're trying to figure out how to do this and you don't want to take the wrong steps. It's very understandable because there are some missteps that people take sometimes, and you want to be careful with those. I'm going to highlight them in this video. I'm going to help you through this process so you can set up your company. So let's go ahead and get started with this. It's going to be a pretty quick tutorial. Make sure you subscribe though to this channel for more business tips and tricks as well. So these are the 7 easy steps that we're going through in this process. So let's get into it today. So the first thing I just want to quickly highlight is to just make sure that an LLC is the right thing for you. Maybe you are already aware of this and you're like very sure on that, then yeah, we'll continue on. But sometimes there's different types of companies. Sometimes you want to start a corporation like a C corporation instead of an LLC, which stands for limited liability corporation. So these are just different types of companies. Make sure that you go through and understand that you are starting the right type of company. For most people, and for myself, I start LLCs, limited liability companies, and that's what we're highlighting in this video. Let's talk about the first thing you need to do for creating your LLC, and that's to come up with a name for your company. Now, this actually, you'd be surprised, a lot of people mess this up because there's certain things that you have to be careful with in the state of Florida. And so in Florida, you either have to have limited liability company, LLC, or L.L.C in the name. So you need to ensure uniqueness though for your LLC, right? So like you can't just start an LLC called McDonald's in the state of Florida because there's already a company that exists called McDonald's that serves burgers and fries and everything, right? So if you try to start a restaurant very similar to that with the same name, they're going to reject you. And I've seen a lot of people get their applications for LLCs rejected because they don't do proper research on this before submitting their application. So the way to do this is actually very easy. I'll show you how to do it. So when determining the name for your LLC, I recommend going to search.sunbiz.org and then typing in the entity name. And this is going to show you if a company like this already exists. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to say that I'm going to start a company called O'Brien Plumbing, right? All right. And so now I'm just going to search to see if O'Brien Plumbing exists in the state of Florida already. And we can go through the list. These are all companies that either exist or have existed at some point in the past in the state of Florida. If we tried to apply for O'Brien Powell Consulting LLC, well, that's already an active LLC. And so it would probably get rejected by the state of Florida. So going through the list here and making sure that there's no companies here called O'Brien Plumbing is going to be very important before I end up submitting my application to the state of Florida. Now, another thing you want to do is do a trademark search. You can do this with US trademark search. Just Google this and you'll find the right site for it. And so on this site, which I will leave a link to down below in the description, you can search for trademarks. And so let me do O'Brien Plumbing and submit. And there are no trademarks for O'Brien Plumbing. And so therefore, I know that I'm not going to be infringing on anyone's business or their trademarks that they might already have for their company. So this is a very important step that you absolutely should do when you start to set up your LLC and when you go through the naming process on your LLC. And by the way, if you're getting confused here and you just want someone to create an LLC for you, then I would recommend going to something like Doula. This is a company that we partner with. They help people to form their companies. So if you want to just skip to that, I'll leave a link to it down below in the description. They go through the whole process for you. They set everything up for you. It's like business in a box basically for entrepreneurs, and they have some really great features. So I'll leave a link to that down below. It costs a little bit of money, but it could end up saving you some time, and they do all these things for you. So yeah, I'll leave that link down below, and I'll actually show you how to use it later on in this video. Just wanted to say that before we get too deep into this. If you start to get confused, Doula is there to help you out. Once you've come up with a name for your LLC, the next step is to find a registered agent. So what this is in the state of Florida, and actually in most states, you need to have a physical address where people can basically receive mail Monday through Friday from a certain time in the morning until the afternoon, where there has to be someone available. And so a lot of people will either use their house or they will hire a registered agent to basically use this as like your business address. You can use your house, but the problem with using your house is that this is actually public information. And so people can see where you live if you use your home address when registering and signing up to create an LLC. So what I recommend doing is use a registered agent. This is basically what Doula does, right? And there's a couple of others like Harbor Compliance or InkFile where they will be the registered agent for you. And it can be like a couple $100s per year to use that business's address instead of your own. You can't use like a UPS box or a PO box. They're going to reject your application if you try to do that. So make sure that it's either your house or you are paying a registered agent annually to do this. Myself personally, I just pay a registered agent like $300 a year, and that is the address address that gets filed with my state for my LLC, right? That's because like I don't want people knowing my home address, so that's just how I do it. Once you understand what a registered agent is, then we can go on to the next step here. You're going to be using them for your address when you sign up for your LLC. Then you're also going to need articles of organization. And articles of organization, do not skip this part. This is very important. This is actually how you create your LLC. The information that's required for this, you need the LLC name, you need the registered agent's name, and then you also need things like the names and addresses of all the members that are going to be in the LLC, right? So if it's just you, it's a single member LLC. Maybe you're creating a company with your friend, that you need to make sure everyone is on there who is starting the company and owns the company. And a couple of other important details as well that you'll see on the form when you are creating the LLC with the state of Florida. The next step here is an operating agreement, and this is something that actually a lot of people skip over, and this is very, very not intelligent to skip over this part. Okay, the operating agreement basically outlines how this company is operated, who runs it, who owns it, and then what happens in certain events, who has voting rights, all these like very important details, especially if there are multiple people in this LLC. You're going to want to make sure that you have an ironclad operating agreement in place. Now, how do you create one of these? I think when we created our first company, I just found like a template on some website, and I used that template and just filled in some information to create the operating agreement for our company. So you don't have to create it from scratch. Like even if you go to like a lawyer in your local area, they're probably just going to find a template from online as well, and then just fill out some information. You can use a template. Also, I think Doula does this for you as well, helps you create your operating agreement and basically streamlines it, but it is absolutely crucial to have one of these for your company. The next step here is to get an EIN. An EIN is an employer identification number. And basically this is like the social security number for a business. So you know how like when you sign up for a credit card or you apply for a loan or something, you need to put in like your social security number. In the same way you have to use a social security number as a person, you need to have an EIN as a business for when you get paid, for when you try to open a bank account, all these other things. And so it's really easy to get one of these. You can just go to the IRS website to get your EIN. It's very simple. I'll show you how to do it right now. So you just go to irs.gov plus this slug here that I'll leave a link to this down below in the description. And this is after you've already like applied for your company. Then you're going to want to apply for this EIN. We just click this button here to apply. And we go through the process of getting our EIN, which it's currently unavailable because it's the government. So, this happens sometimes. Don't worry. It's pretty easy to go through this process. Just make sure you're on the correct site when you do this. Don't get scammed. Make sure you're on actual irs.gov and not some other random website. But once again, Doula will help you do this as well. They'll help you with your EIN and your operating agreement. If that's something that, you don't really want to deal with, they will take care of that for you. And then the last step for making sure that your business is up and running and everything is going smooth is to start to open things like a bank account or maybe a credit card for your business. And in order to do this, you're going to need all of the stuff that we previously mentioned, right? You're going to need your EIN, you're going to need your operating agreement, you're going to need your articles of organization. Take all of those papers, take all of that information, print it out. I recommend printing it out and then take it into the bank so that you can create your bank account. You're going to need those documents. It's very, very important. So that's the basic steps of doing that. Now, let me just show you if you want to go through the process of creating this on Doula. It's pretty easy. We can go with something like the basic starter plan on Doula. And this process is going to take us like probably 5 minutes to create this LLC. So let me just put in my information here and then we'll move on to the next step. So now we just have to select our country of residence. The good thing about using Doula is that, they actually help you create LLCs, even if you are not a US citizen. So if you live in a different country, that's okay. They actually specialize in that for people like outside the US trying to create LLCs, but I live in the United States. And so I will click US and then click on next. They give us a couple of different options. They can actually help people set up C corporations as well, and also DAO LLCs, which I've never done myself, but we're just going to click on LLC here, click on next. All right. And we've selected LLC. Now let's click on next. And for the state, we're going to choose Florida because that's what we are doing today, is creating a Florida LLC. And you don't absolutely have to live in the state of Florida in order to create an LLC there. Although that would make the most sense, is that it would be Florida residents. You can go back and forth on this. I have LLCs in multiple different states that I don't live in, and that's generally okay. But of course, I'm not a lawyer, so don't hold me to that. You need to do some more research on this. And so Florida does have a filing fee. This is what's charged by the state, is $125. So just keep that in mind. Pretty much every state has a filing fee just to process your request to create an LLC. Let's click on next here. And now we're creating our company name. So I think we said it's going to be O'Brien Plumbing. click on next. And now we can decide which package we want. I think the business starter package is going to be pretty great with Dula. So they do our formation filings, they get our EIN for us, which is going to be pretty nice. They set up our operating agreement, and then they also offer that registered agent service so that we don't have to use our home address. And especially like if you don't even live in Florida and you're trying to create a Florida LLC, you're going to definitely need to have a registered agent. And so Dula does that for us for a year there, and then, offers that continuously throughout every year. You can continue for that. And so we're going to click on next here. And then they have other options as well. Like you can get expedited formation. Personally, I'm not in a rush to create this LLC, and so I don't mind waiting. That's up to you. Like if you want to start it tonight, then maybe go for it. But personally, yeah, I don't think I really need that. So I'm going to click on next. And then they do other things as well, like annual state compliance. I think this is pretty important unless you want to do this yourself. I just would subscribe to this and just pay $199 per year for them to manage your state compliance. If there's any certain types of paperwork, they take care of that for you. So that's pretty great. And then the tax package as well. I don't need that right now, but they will do your business filings with the IRS, and then also help you with like a 30-minute like accountant call to help you out with your taxes. I know they do offer that as a service, and I've heard some people who really do like it. So that could be worth exploring sometime in the future. I'm not going to do it right now though. I'm just trying to set up this LLC. And so now we are ready to go, and we can basically just confirm and pay. We enter in our billing information and we are just about ready to go. And so it's that easy to create your LLC. You could do this manually. You don't have to use Dula. It's a little bit more complex. You got to go to these various different sites to do that, but it is still possible. And so if you want to do this manually, you can go to the link below in the description, and you can file your articles of organization manually. You can do all of that. So I will leave it down below. Hopefully that was helpful for you. I know it's a quick tutorial just helping you guys set up your LLC in the state of Florida. Make sure you subscribe for more videos like this. We have lots of business tips coming out on this channel, and I'll see everybody sometime in the future. If you have questions, leave them down below in the description or in the comment section. I'll do my best to respond to you. I know it can be a little bit confusing, a little bit difficult, but I'm here to help you guys out. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.